Figure it out yourself." Those were the last words Stephanie screamed before cutting the engine and leaving me standing in the middle of a gas station parking lot, an hour outside Billings, Montana. My wallet in my pocket, my phone in my hand, and a sense of disbelief washing over me. 200 miles from home, alone. Her sisters, Jessica and Vanessa, laughing in the back seat like this was the funniest thing they had ever seen. My name is John. I'm 34. I work construction for North Peak Engineering, and I had been married to Stephanie for 8 years. 8 years of shared plans, memories, and what I thought was trust. We had driven up for her cousin's wedding, supposed to be a weekend getaway. Just the four of us, splitting gas, hotel rooms, and time together. But from the first mile, something felt off. Stephanie kept exchanging secretive glances with her sisters in the rearview mirror, whispered conversations when she thought I wasn't listening. Every time I asked, she smiled and said, "Nothing, babe, just sister stuff." I should have listened to my gut. We stopped for gas. I went inside to grab coffee and use the restroom. When I came back, they were already in the car, engine running. Stephanie rolled down the window with a grin I didn't recognize. "Get in the car, Stephanie," I said, walking toward her. "Actually," she replied, "we've been talking, and we think you need to learn some independence." I froze. My brain raced. Jessica leaned forward from the back seat. "You're always so clingy, John, following Stephanie like a lost puppy. We thought this would be good for you." Vanessa chimed in, eyes sparkling with mischief. "A little adventure," she said. Except this wasn't a playful joke. They had my house keys, not car keys. My truck was parked back home in Denver, and I realized with a sinking stomach this was deliberate. Stephanie's grin widened. "It's not a joke, it's a prank," she said. "You're always so serious, John. Learn to laugh a little." And with that, she hit the gas. Tail lights disappeared down Highway 2, and I stood in the October wind, the smell of snow creeping into the air, understanding something I didn't want to face. I called her, straight to voicemail. Called Jessica. Same thing. Vanessa had blocked me months ago over some argument I couldn't even remember. That's when I knew. This wasn't some harmless prank. This was a statement. I went back inside the gas station and asked the clerk about buses. No buses run directly through here. Greyhound stops about 40 miles east. I had 14 hours of travel, sitting in an uncomfortable seat, thinking about my life, my marriage, and the woman I had loved. 9 years earlier, I'd met Stephanie at a job site. Environmental consulting, sharp, funny, making me feel like the only person in the room. Her sisters? Different story. Jessica, 2 years older, a marketing professional with opinions about everything. Vanessa, the youngest, 28, still figuring out her life but full of attitude. From the beginning, they made me feel like an intruder in their family. Vacations where I wasn't included, dinners with inside jokes I couldn't understand, constant commentary on my choices. "Family comes first," Stephanie would say. I respected that. But what I thought was closeness was actually control. Small comments, little digs, a slow erosion of my place in their world. The drive to Montana had been the warning. Stephanie insisted I didn't need my truck. She booked the hotel under her name. Her sisters poked fun at my serious demeanor, nudging me towards spontaneity. "Remember when you used to be fun?" Vanessa asked, a remark that stung far deeper than I'd let anyone know. Standing in that Montana gas station, watching the sun dip behind rolling hills, I realized my life had been lived for others. Every effort to be a good husband, a reliable man, a provider, it meant nothing if I couldn't trust the woman I loved. I used the station's landline to call a taxi to get me to the bus station. $60 I couldn't really afford, but every cent was worth the chance to get moving. 14 hours of thought. 14 hours of understanding that this wasn't about independence. It wasn't about teaching me a lesson. This was humiliation. I replayed the years in my mind. Every time I'd bent to their whims, Every last-minute change because Vanessa or Jessica needed something. The forgotten anniversaries, birthdays sidelined for family crises, every excuse swallowed to keep the peace. It hit me that Stephanie and her sisters had planned this meticulously for weeks, maybe months, laughing at my cluelessness. When I arrived in Denver at 8 a.m., I expected to see Stephanie's car in the driveway. It wasn't there. The house was empty. I called in sick, and then I did something I had never dared. I went through Stephanie's things, not out of jealousy, but for understanding. Her laptop, carelessly left open, revealed group chats with her sisters. Screenshots of my conversations, laughing emojis, captions about me sleeping, dead to the world as usual. And the Montana trip thread. Jessica S. idea first, let S ditch him somewhere and see how long it takes him to figure it out. Vanessa.
Bye-bye.
OMG, yes. He's so dependent on Steph for everything. Stephanie. You guys are terrible, but it would be hilarious. Every detail, every whisper of planning confirmed the betrayal. I packed a bag, didn't leave a note, didn't lock the door. Walked away the same way they had. My brother Kevin took me in. He had never liked Stephanie, always cautious when she was around. I told him the story. Jesus, John, you're better off without her, he said. I requested a transfer at work to Colorado Springs. No questions asked. Tuesday, Stephanie called, confusion in her voice, pretending worry. I blocked her. Then Jessica, then Vanessa. They called from other numbers, tried to manipulate, insist I come back. I didn't. I settled into a new life. Work during the day, evening classes, small apartment. Choices entirely my own. Freedom to decide dinner, paint colors, life priorities. The first time in years, I felt like myself. Weeks later, my mother called. Stephanie had been playing the narrative, telling everyone I'd disappeared, had a breakdown. I realized she was still controlling the story, still trying to make me the villain. I drove back to Denver, not to my old home, but to my friend Marcus's place. Shared the full truth. He understood. He had seen the way Stephanie controlled, isolated, humiliated. Months passed. I filed for divorce. Lawyer Patricia Coleman handled everything. Screenshots, blocked numbers, social media evidence, proof of harassment and manipulation. Stephanie tried to spin it as abandonment. The court saw through it. Divorce granted. Assets split equally. No spousal support, no illusions. 3 years later, my construction company, Thompson Contracting, was thriving. Kevin and Marcus as my team. Steady work, honest business, house with a yard. Life mine entirely. Stephanie remarried 6 months later, divorced in a year. Her sisters faced consequences. Jobs lost, reputations tarnished. Justice, subtle but complete. Some lessons I realized could only be learned through pain, betrayal, loneliness, forced independence. And yet, it was in that struggle, in that long bus ride across Wyoming, in those hours of reflection, that I finally found myself. I wasn't just a man abandoned at a gas station. I was a man reborn, free, capable, unafraid. Because sometimes, the most devastating pranks reveal the most essential truths. And from that Montana gas station onward, I never looked back.